Hello and welcome to episode 141 of the Book Wars Pod.
This is where the fun begins.
Just now.
We did it!
Just now the fun begins because for once in a row.
I mean, this is a high point. There's like
Once
it's not
in a
going to
row,
get
the
better
first
than this.
time.
We should
Is
just
that what you meant?
quit.
It's the same thing.
All right. Thank you for listening to this episode.
Yeah. Be sure to donate. I'm Chris. In case you have not been following our running accounting of my inability to remember how this podcast works, I did not
Also, you're
interrupt
the only
Kristen that
man.
time.
That's how we remember it's you.
He was saying why it was notable that we paused.
Oh, I thought he was like.
Also notable that a man paused.
People
Yes,
didn't
but...
know who he was.
Did you? I love how you stopped listening to the podcast. There's one person talking, and you were not listening to him.
Listen,
To be
she
fair, I
knew.
did that once, and then I accused Burb of talking about the Confederation. So
Listen,
it's fine.
Burb knew that our content was not going to get better than that. I respect it. I respect her honesty.
I'm a woman of the people. Okay.
The people who also don't listen to our podcast.
Correct.
There are a lot of them.
Excellent.
Most people, you could say.
Yes, I think that's a fair fact. Statistically, most people do not listen to our podcast. But like, if you want to, cool. Glad we're here, or glad you're here. I'm not so glad that we're here. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Let me like mute myself.
Solidly mediocre on the fact that we're here, but
Maybe less than that.
I don't think the people who don't listen can hear you, Rana.
Oh, I'm aware, but just didn't want people who do listen to think we hate them. I don't know. Now I felt weird. All right, let me drink
listen,
some
we
water
don't want
and
the
stop
people who
this
don't
shit.
listen to feel left out. We want to have some content for them too.
That content is our silence. When we
Exactly.
skip, that's the content for people who don't listen.
It's like a birthday present to the world. That made sense.
Is the world just
It
like
did. No, I understood what you were saying.
is the world one of those kids that like they just always had a shitty birthday and they hate it now?
What, like
would
a
make some
Christmas
sense.
birthday?
Yeah. Or just like shitty parents' birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
I don't like you either.
Yeah, now I'm gonna go cry and
Yeah, this got too real. I made it too real. That's on me. My parents are visiting in a week, and it's the first time I've seen them in a year and a half. Can you tell it's on my mind? Anyway,
Are you gonna
Nope.
like steadily unload little bits of childhood trauma in each podcast?
probably it is. It's also
I
therapy
mean, that is
day,
Star Wars,
so
so.
like it's all bubbled up. I am Chris. As you can hear, I am here with Rana, Miranda, and Kristen, and we're here discussing once again The Empire Strikes Back from a certain point of view. I feel like we have already gotten started, but what is everybody drinking? Let's start with Kristen. Let's go crazy with it today.
Okay.
Go
I'm drinking the
Keeps.
same thing I was drinking last week, which is the Fort George three-way IPA, which is very delicious. But more importantly, I am drinking one of my new favorite things, which is seltzer water with a hint of root beer flavor, which is
Oh.
great because then,
Who is she?
I mean, I believe it's our friends at Fizz & Co., the Kroger brand. But it's just like a regular seltzer, but it kind of tastes like root beer. And they make one that kind of tastes like Dr. Pepper also, and I am solidly into it. Cause
I
I
need
know
to
this is a
acquire
dumb
this.
question, but does it taste like good root beer, or does it taste like fluoride rinse in elementary school root beer?
What kind of root beer did
No
you
one
have
else
in
had root beer
elementary
flavored
school?
fluoride rinse?
No.
No, we had fluoride
Okay.
in our water.
Again, central Massachusetts. We have fluoride in our water now, thank you. But no, you guys didn't have someone come into school like with a little tray of fluoride things you had to swish around your mouth twice a week? No? Okay.
Nope.
Well, we did, and the worst
Didn't.
flavor was root beer, and I was always like, wow, I hope I never have root beer that tastes like this, so that's why I asked. But apparently this is only a Rana experience, so.
I think regular
ignore
root
it.
beer.
Well, I
But-
think there's good root beer, and then there's
Yeah.
like okay root beer,
Well,
and then
I-
there's like the fluoride rinse.
To be fair, this is a replacement for soda. So
Yes.
just please take it as that. But I quite enjoy it and find it. I mean, it's kind of like that if you've ever had the LaCroix that kind of tastes like Diet Coke. It's kind of like that.
I
Like
did
they
not
have
know
a
that was
cola.
thing.
They have a
What
cola
weird ass
version.
shit are
I
they
have
doing
not
in
had
Portland
the cola.
with
If
with
you
don't-
seltzers?
They
It's a
had
real
it at
thing.
the Harris Teeter in Potomac Yard, or
Yeah,
almost in
it's a
Potomac
real
Yard.
thing.
If
Here,
you
I'm gonna
want
send
a
a link.
seltzer that kind of tastes like ginger beer, or actually that kind of tastes like a Moscow Mule, highly recommend Polar's.
Oh, the
No,
ginger
I forgot.
lime.
The
bitch.
ginger mule, yeah, and the one that is now a
yes.
regular flavor. That
It's now a
shit is
regular
so good.
flavor.
Anyways,
It's
it wouldn't
so
be a
good.
podcast if I didn't, shout out Polar. But
Shout out Polar. No, and shout out ginger, just any ginger flavored sparkling
Yes.
water because I love ginger flavored
It's so
sparkling
good.
water.
It's so good. I am
So
having
good.
my mom bring me some when she drives out here. I'm
Love
ready.
that.
Also, stick it in the freezer when it's halfway done.
Ooh,
Then use it. Yeah. And that's the weekly recipe.
that's been soda talk.
Now
Uh,
I really just want to log off, go to the store, and buy some seltzer. Fuck.
yeah. Don't
I'm just
you guys
drinking
have?
fucking regular ass flat water over here like a chump.
Oh, that's okay. Chris is drinking water. What are you drinking, Miranda? You have a Maryland koozie as usual.
So this is the end of a can of Fresca that I finally pulled out of my trunk this morning
Soda Talk Part 2?
from Sunday. I think technically they're advertising themselves as like a sparkling water these days, but I'm like, they're definitely a soda. This is a grapefruit soda.
I
also
do see
have-
the can behind you, or the box behind you of Fresca. Very exciting. Great product placement.
It's like when I had that Polar box there for 2 months. I also have some whiskey. It's Burnside, our friends here in Portland. Their West End blend. It's just a whiskey blend, but it's fantastic.
Nice.
Rana.
Rana, how about you?
Ronnie, you want to go?
Yeah. While I was waiting, I don't know. I apologize for how energetic I am today. Something happens to me at this time of year until the middle of July when the days are this long, where I'm just like, woo, all the time, my whole life. So sorry, I haven't even started drinking. So yay! Hopefully it will calm me down. Anyways, I am drinking a Susanna Spineslinger by Odell Brewing. It's a sour ale brewed with watermelon, prickly pear, and lime. I know Chris just saw this because I gave one to Kate. It's only 6%, so don't worry. I'm, if I slur, it's just Rana being Rana. And it tells me what the malts are, which I hadn't heard of before. 2-row. So I was gonna make a Haudenosaunee joke there, but I don't think any Haudenosaunee people listen to our podcast, so never mind. And it's includes watermelon, prickly pear, lime, and malt beverage. I'm excited.
We love a prickly pear sour.
Doesn't it sound great for summer? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's.
I will mute before opening very loudly. Go
Oh
ahead.
no,
Bird.
do it. We like the crick.
Okay, well, let's hope this one doesn't explode all over my laptop this time.
Ooh. Ooh.
Pour it into my glass.
Oh,
Oh,
you
it's not
fancy
making much
bitch.
noise.
We've got a prickly pear sour out here, or maybe it's a cactus. Our friends down
Prickly
at
pear is a cactus, yeah. Oh, you
Is
mean
it?
the beer is a cactus? Wait, what? Are you
Yeah, what are we?
prickly pear is a
I'm
type of
very
cactus.
confused.
It's a fruit on a cactus.
Oh shit. Okay, then maybe it is the same thing. There's a really good sour from Ex Novo here in Portland. That's a prickly pear. Drink
sounds
beer,
Miranda, in
do
your
good.
mind,
Oh my
where did
God.
prickly pears come from?
I don't know. I mean, I guess a cactus makes sense.
This shit is so good.
I never would have given it any thought.
Is that your first time trying it, Rana? Your
Yes.
face is like, yo.
It, lit up.
I need to have this in the summer. It's 95 degrees here right now, and also it has really cool art. But yeah, even though it was a little overpriced, maybe not overpriced, more than I would typically buy for a 4-pack of beer. I am totally going to buy like 3 of them. And I bet my mom would drink half of them when she comes out here in a couple weeks. So
There's no such thing as paying too much.
yes, exactly.
And
Well,
for a
there is if
4-pack
it's
of beer.
not for good beer, like, but so it's worth the price.
Some
I'm
of
just
us,
saying.
some of us like to buy 8 beers and spend $35.
Also, at least those beers are tall boys too, so like it's not like you're
Yeah, I did have like a head on it, but then it dissolved. But I swear I poured it like a real beer.
I wouldn't say I like to pay that much, Miranda. I would just say I do
pay
that much.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's worth it for like a local, delicious, small craft beer. But
I feel bad when I do it because I shouldn't be spending that much money on beer, but then the beer's really good.
that's when you just make it last. No, okay. Burbs, before give me a face like bitch. What?
I can do that.
excellent.
So,
Yeah. Anyway,
Chris, do
Star
you have alcohol
Wars.
with your water or just water?
No, just water today because as Rana, as you mentioned, it is fucking ridiculously hot right now.
Did
And I took a nap about an hour ago, which was a great decision. But now
a
I'm
nap
like slightly
at 6
dehydrated.
or 7? That's a risky
Listen.
choice.
It's Chris.
Listen. It's a lifestyle. It's a commitment. That's what it is.
Oh, right, you're a night owl. I forgot. You're not going to go to bed right after this episode.
Oh
It's
yeah,
gonna
no.
be-
I'm
just things I do.
I don't.
We'll be up
I've stopped
for
telling people what time
several
I go to
6
bed
hours.
because then it just like makes them look at me askance when I roll into work in the morning.
I mean, live your best life.
Yeah.
Wait,
But yeah, so it like just made me like a little dehydrated. So now I'm drinking water, trying to be a
gonna
responsible
happen.
person. Probably have a beer after, to be honest.
this isn't a side that I can continue off pod, but did I ever tell you about the time that my friend in college poured tequila in somebody's water?
No.
No, but I'm intrigued.
It's
I once knew someone who ordered tequila waters at a bar, and I was like, "What's the point?"
I was
Like-
I had a tequila soda on. Well, that's
That's
different.
fine.
That's
That's different. But a tequila water, like, what?
Yeah, that's
oh well,
bizarre.
no judgment. But like, it was kind of weird. I was like, "Why not?" Okay,
That's so weird.
all right.
I've never heard
This
of
is
that.
New York City, so life is weird there. But
I don't trust them.
That's like almost weirder that it's in New York. I'm surprised they got a bartender in New York to pour them that.
oh, bartenders in New York will pour you anything. It's like $17 a drink.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah, that's I'm sure they did upcharge them for the water. Special New York, special bagel water, bagel
I'm
flavored
gonna
tequila.
pretend that didn't happen. And what are we reading? No, I'm just kidding.
We are reading The Empire Strikes Back from a certain point of view, and before we dive in,
Sorry,
just-
I'm an asshole.
no, you're perfect.
Incorrect.
Before we dive in, a reminder that the organization that we are supporting and encouraging people to give to this month, if you are so inclined and you have the means, is Islamic Relief USA at irusa.org. They are working to raise funds and distribute aid to people who have been affected by violence in Palestine. And now let's dive into I feel like I've used this transition every week that we've been reading this book, and I'm not going to stop now. Let's dive into more fascism and evil empires. So the first one we read was Amara Kell's Rules for Thai Pilot Survival, probably by Django
Which is the
Wexler.
biggest mood.
The probably, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it's worked for me so far, but I can't make any promises here. I, too, will probably be dead by the end of this story.
Yeah.
Probably.
The story was also extremely gay, which I figured you would be appreciative of. Burb.
Yeah, it was. It was real gay. It was very funny. I really liked this one. It was, a big mood where, like, usually when we're looking at the Empire, or, like, seeing a story from the point of view of an Imperial
From
character.
a certain point of view.
Jesus.
Sorry.
I dropped the ball there. I missed that one entirely. But usually it's somebody like Tarkin. It's like an officer or someone higher up, or it's like Iden Versio, someone like who like will go to the rebellion or has some kind of significance. This is just some like run of the mill conscript who was smart enough to be like, hey, you can go fly a TIE fighter for a little bit. And then it turns out she's super queer, makes out with the other hot pilot. There was some flying and trying not to die in between, but, you know, the other pilot was like, look at my stats, and then just, like, did some cool shit. And they were like, let's make out. And honestly, what more do you need from a story?
I definitely misunderstood the makeout and thought that that was a reference to shower sex, so I guess I misunderstood.
I
I
mean,
was like, wow, that's
that
an
is
explicit mention in a Star
absolutely
Wars
what
One-
happened.
Okay,
Yeah, I
that's
was
what
gonna say,
thought
one
when you
can
said it. I
lead
was
to
like,
the
wait
other,
a second, what
famously.
did I think here?
Yeah, they're in the shower making out.
That's I figured that it went. Yeah, okay. Just wanted to
Completely
be sure I
chaste,
wasn't,
though.
like, completely changing the storyline.
I mean, maybe there were some other people there. They weren't into that sort of
Oh,
thing.
true. I don't think they have individual showers there.
This is a Disney property.
listen, Disney censors are asleep is the mood for every Star Wars book.
Except for Resistance Reborn.
I was about to say.
Ugh. JJ censors
Sorry,
never
Rebecca
sleep.
Roanhorse, we don't blame you.
Rebecca Roanhorse, God, she tried so hard.
Did,
She did that for us.
did a heroic job with what was given to her. Yes, aside from how gay this was, which is amazing, what I really liked about this one is that we don't, like, I found it really interesting that Amara was conscripted, which is not a view that we've seen.
Yeah, I feel like usually it makes sense though. Like, I feel like we've seen TIE pilots. They're like, oh, the best of the best, but also they're like, we're just cannon fodder. Like, the average time in this unit's 1.6 days or weeks or whatever the fuck it is, right? I think that's a Shadow Wing stat, maybe. No
Yeah,
idea.
something Alphabet Squadron or Shadowfall, one of the two. But yeah,
I-
no, it is interesting because usually when we see Imperial soldiers and pilots, we've got like two brands of people. We've got, like, you know, the true believers, usually the rich kids who are like, yes, glory to the Empire, and rebels are bad and we should kill them. And then we have, like, ironically, like the Han Solos, who just joined up because they were like, I would like to be not where I am right now, and flying is fun.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting to see, you know, particularly in, I think, like, you know, at least for me, speaking as, like, in our lifetime, there's never been a military draft, and this is not something that we've necessarily need to think about. It was very interesting to me how she kind of acclimates to her situation of, yeah, I got drafted, it happens, now this is what I do, and I come up with funny rules because that's just what I have time to do during the day.
Yeah, it's like she can't do anything about it. She's there. It's her job. And like all of us, she makes fun of her job. Glory to the Empire.
I do wish that she could share this list with our dear friend from Alphabet Squadron, good old Erica. I do wish she would share the don't get attached to people thing. I was thinking of Erica's weird, like, mentee relationship, and I was like, girl, no attachments.
I think it's safe to say that Amara would, like, take one look at Erica, you know, back pre Operation Cinder, before she started to feel guilty about shit, and just be like, you need to remove this gigantic stick from your ass.
Yeah, 100%. Burb seems to have another idea as well.
Yeah, Burb
I'm
was
just saying. I
don't
making
necessarily
motions
disagree with,
that
yeah.
were not the same as what I was describing.
Oh my god! He admitted!
I'm just saying, they could have been gay to each other.
I mean, they also definitely would have boned.
Why not both?
Yeah. Girl needs to relax, you know? But, like, this story, like, the dark humor in this and just, like, the making fun of the job, but it's, like, you're assigned to a Star Destroyer. It's not like, oh, whatever, you know, Billy Bob does this. It's like, so it's great. Captain Nita can't get mad at us because we got back and he was dead. Because Darth Vader killed him. Fantastic. Let's go make out some more. I was like, yeah, love this for you. Like, not the whole fascism thing, but you got good jokes.
If only we had those.
If
Good
only.
jokes.
The irony is that no one laughed at my joke, so I proved my own point.
I chuckled.
fine.
I gave it a solid, like, hearty chuckle.
It's all right. I understand. That was my whole point. So
The other thing that I just found interesting about Amara is, like, and this kind of gets back to what I was saying about, like, how she just kind of gets through the day as somebody who was conscripted, is that she's just very impersonal to everyone. And, you know, we see by the end that she was kind of full of shit with her don't get attached rule. But
It's a little hypocritical.
yeah, just a touch. But, like, she is very impersonal about, like, these are my squad mates. You know, I don't even remember what her squad was named, but, like, TIE Fighter 22, TIE Fighter 46, my good friends. And, like, she was, like, you know, describing the battle when she was like, yeah, a pesky little A-Wing got behind me, so I blew it up, and then I kept flying, and then other things. Like, no accounting for, even though she knows, obviously, that they're rebels, it's very impersonal and dehumanized. But she kind of
doesn't she
treats her
call
own
them
squad
like
mates the
Joe
same way.
Rebel at one point?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I loved that one note.
Yeah, she's just, I mean, and like, she has to be, you know? They're all gonna die. That's the whole point here. It's a Star War, Mon Mothma. But, like, you know, she's not gonna be out there trying to make friends with Dragon Ball Z or whoever the fuck shows up fresh out of basic, like, I can fly a plane. And she's like, you're gonna crash into something.
Yeah.
But then she's like, let's go make out. It's fine. I'm not attached.
Burb clearly had one specific thing stand out to her in this story.
I really liked the story.
No, it is a really good one. Yeah,
It was very good. It was very funny.
yeah, and very gay, and that's fine. That's good.
Makes it all better.
Listen, probably is one of those words where if you see it in a title, like that, it sets the tone for the book
Yeah, for
or
sure.
for the story or for whatever piece of media it is.
Yeah. Yeah, she had that vibe right from the start. We loved it.
It was a good one.
All right, let's turn on to a much less. Let's continue on.
It's like
I
we
got
already
nothing.
did the gay story, Chris. Go
Yeah,
home.
clearly. Let's continue to a story that was not funny, and not charming, and that is "Disturbance" by Mike Chen.
It's a weird one.
It's
Yeah, I didn't.
It's got some weird force shit for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not the weirdest force shit we saw in this like section of stories,
true.
but still some weird force shit and like weird force dreams. But he's seeing the dreams and it's not his dream, and like little Luke Skywalker's got a fucking red saber. Short for lightsaber for those of you
If you didn't know.
if you're not familiar with Star Wars. I'm so sorry.
Just totally threw me off.
I did say this would be a shitpost filled episode.
It's true. It's true. Can confirm. Before we even started recording, Rana was just like, the shitpost energy is really good right now.
Do I have the force? No, but
Yes.
The shit post
Premonition.
force.
It's not how the Force works, Rana.
Shut the fuck up. No. I'm just kidding. If anyone, yeah, sorry.
I do love that even Anakin's dreams are extra.
Yeah. Well, of course they are. If you had all your like body parts burned off in lava and all that shit, and you killed children, you'd probably have traumatic dreams too.
I mean, fair.
He did not go to space therapy ever. He was just like, what if instead of space therapy, I go kill all these people on Tatooine, and then I go kill all these younglings in the Jedi Temple, and then when I get the rest of my limbs chopped off, I'm just gonna ignore that and like get some cool cyborg stuff.
And then I'll kill everyone who works for me.
Yeah, that's a great idea. 10 points to Anakin.
Don't forget he has his own egg too.
I was going to say, what if instead of
He
therapy,
does.
I sit in egg?
Egg.
I do love, so one thing that I like, just like a very small continuity thing that I enjoy from this story is Palpatine's little like chamber of evil below what used to be the Jedi Temple is mentioned very briefly in Tarkin, the novel by James Lucena that we read a while back. And then also I suspect it's like from where he accesses the World Between Worlds in Rebels, because he's in like dark room with like a very like Wizard of Oz cauldron situation. So I like that we're getting more of a view of what Palps kind of does with his time.
Daddy Palps on his off days.
I mean, we did learn that apparently he fucks, so just kidding. Clones or something. Somehow.
Palpatine fucks.
Hashtag Palpatine fucks.
Oh boy.
But yeah, kind of going to the weird Force shit. It was just, I found it very interesting that we got like this view of the Force as kind of simultaneously this like incredibly strong natural force, but also like almost sentient in its own right.
Yeah, I liked the back and forth of like how he navigated or like wrestled with it and then letting it overcome him and then pushing back and then being like, oh shit, I can't do anything about this. Like, I don't know. I don't know that I fully understood it in that capacity or that I thought about it in that type of a relationship. So it was interesting to see it from that perspective, especially from someone who so openly like craves power.
I didn't read too deep into this one, gonna say. I just liked the part where he was like, this is Anakin's dream, or Vader's dream. Look at this. It's like, I know this voice, this weird little kid walking around with a red lightsaber. Who the fuck could that be? Oh, my murder son. Got it.
Yeah, it was interesting. I don't know, as many times as I've seen Empire Strikes Back, which is a lot, I was not sure that I had imagined that Vader made that connection first. Like, I know Palpatine says, like, search your feelings, blah, 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 but I didn't, like, really put together that he already knew that. I thought it was like, oh, that makes sense. So to see Vader have a dream about all this shit, I was like, oh, I misunderstood this movie. I thought I had seen far more times than any human being should admit to, so...
No, and in your defense, that's also like very much a new canon thing, I think, where it's... I know we don't really read the Marvel comics, but I think way back in the day when we first started this and before we blacklisted Marvel from our podcast, we did read kind of the first arc of the Kieran Gillen Darth Vader series that came out in, I don't know, 20 some odd, 16, 17. And it showed Vader kind of learning who the rebel who blew up the Death Star was and kind of realizing what had happened and going on, one of his patented Vader death rampages.
Oh, okay. Yes, yeah, I never read that, so...
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
he starts trying to find him, and
trying to find him and keep his existence from the Emperor.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that sounds interesting if the Marvel Star Wars comics weren't, problematic.
Yeah,
I would read it. I want to read a summary. I'll go find a summary on that.
yeah, it's good. It's
Or I'll listen to old Book Wars pods.
there was an
episodes
episode
about
on it.
Yeah,
I
I'll listen to
mean,
that.
I don't know that I would recommend that, but kind of just to go back to what Rana was saying about seeing like how the Force kind of operates. I also really enjoyed seeing how dark side users interact with the Force, because we get plenty of, we always get plenty of descriptions of how the Jedi view the Force, and its balance, and you're always trying to kind of go with the flow, so to speak, and to continue with this metaphor of the tides that we saw in this story. But it was really interesting to me to see Palpatine just straight up be like, no, like, the Force is something to be controlled, and you need to actively assert your will against it, and, like, literally control the tides of the Force, so to speak. And I found that interesting in a view that we haven't really seen.
Also, I don't see how that could ever fully work for you. Like, okay. I don't know. I was going to come up with a whole metaphor, and then I realized this is a shitpost pod, and we have no place for such a thing. So I'm just going to say, okay.
It's true. You were on the verge of trying way too hard for this podcast.
I'm just going to do a whole comparison to the ocean, so not necessary.
Also, like, as my, entire life's existence is to just, like, laugh at Anakin and just, like, eye roll at him. How do y'all interpret his vision? Like, do you think he sees, like, turning Luke to the dark side as his, like, ultimate redemption?
I don't know if I would say that. I mean, first of all, it's just really cool to see what he dreams about. I'm like, you are not over that time that you kind of killed your wife, but the Emperor kind of killed your wife, but you were really mad at her.
Sadness.
But then she was just sad. Yeah.
She lost the will to live. Okay, but
Sorry.
I don't know. I mean, maybe, but I think the fact that, like, he's dreaming about Luke and, like, Padme is also there, like, that, the kind of, you know, having a family aspect leads me to be like, maybe it's not. Because, like, you know, the Sith are all, there can only be two of us, and, you know, one has to kill the other, and, you know, he wants to have his happy little dark side family.
Yeah, I kind of took it as like a fantasy of like what the perfect situation for him would be.
Except
I don't
he's
think
still on the dark side.
Yes, well, I don't think he really has any intention to leave that at this point. Like,
Well,
I think
no,
that's just who he is. But, you know, you can only force choke people so many times. But I just kind of felt like more on the verge of that's what his, like, ideal situation would be. Even, and maybe it was even, like, symbolic of, like, Padme would approve of him, like, rekindling his relationship with his son. But no, that's not a thing. But, you know, building any sort of, like, family and positive values. No, he doesn't have positive values. What am I saying? What I'm saying is that was just sort of the way that I took it. Was like, you know, oh, this is something that she might approve of. Oh, he's still really heartbroken about all that shit. Murder's not really patching that wound, but he has a child, so maybe they can overthrow the Emperor, who's kind of partially responsible for it. It might have been a vision. I don't fucking know.
I thought it was a dream.
Yeah, I took it as like a dream fantasy, but
Oh, I mean, it was absolutely like a dream fantasy. I think to me, the part that struck me as like, what is Vader thinking here is the fact that he was Anakin in the dream as opposed to Vader. And to me, that was like almost like a, you know, like how at the end of Return of the Jedi, where George Lucas leads us to believe that he's redeemed and he shows up as Anakin Force Ghost, whether that's old Anakin Force Ghost or Hayden Christensen Force Ghost. And so to me, I was like, I read it and I was almost like, so does he like have this like evil perverted view of his redemption where he's like, and my only mistake was that I didn't care enough about my family while I was murdering everybody else. And like, he's like, and this is the thing that will redeem for me, or is it just a dream and he just doesn't dream of himself as a monster because he likes to have one good thing in his sad little egg existence.
His existence?
so I'd better tell Keeks.
Oh, God, I just had a point. What the fuck was it? Oh, yeah, he's like... No, I fucking... God damn it, Chris, your existence joke. Part of it, yeah, it's like, you know, he wants to be his big, happy murder family. I'm not going to remember what that point was, but I did think it's really interesting, you know, that, like you just said, he's dreaming about being Anakin. And I'm like, this is one of the, like, most closely held secrets in the Empire. And you're just openly dreaming about it, where any old, you know, Sith Lord could come along and snoop in on your dreams.
But is that a secret because Vader doesn't want people to know that, or is that just a secret because once you become a Sith, you leave behind your previous identity?
Oh, is that a thing?
I don't know.
I just like
that.
I know, like in Tarkin,
I make up fake shit all the time, so, including in my own life.
And in everything else, everyone's like, you know, this Vader guy seems familiar.
You get a Sith confirmation name.
Oh, God.
Baptized in lava. I just realized baptizing is not a confirmation, but you know what, Catholics?
Listen, I wouldn't have called you on it.
That slipped right by me.
Kate's not here. Mod's asleep, dunk on Catholicism.
Yeah, my parents both kind of left Catholicism, so I don't have to learn about it, which is great.
I think this week especially, or this and last week, normally I'd always say, you know, fuck the Catholic Church, but considering recent events, fuck the Catholic Church.
Yep. But yeah, anyway, Darth Vader continues to be sad.
Always. He's a sad boy. Sad boy Vader.
Big if true. Let's talk about worms, shall we?
Yes, please. I really like this one.
Go for it.
No one else?
Go for it. Talk about it for listeners who are not reading along with us. This is No Cave by Kat Valente.
I don't know why I like this one. Of course, the other one I liked a lot was the one by Mark Oshiro. So clearly I like these stories about like creatures that are misunderstood and need to kill people. I hope that doesn't say much about me. Maybe I should bring that up in therapy. But I don't think I'm that creature. Anyways, I really like this. This story was from the perspective of the asteroid worm thing. And it was real sad. Like, real, at least to me, it was like sad worm vibes. My friend in real life likes to I said in real life, I'm sorry, I don't know why, but my friend always jokes whenever people say hot girl summer, and then she says sad girl vibes, and I always think it's really funny, so that's where that came from. Anyways, so what was I saying? Keeks, can we cut that? I'm sorry, I'm like, my brain's not working.
I'll consider it. I liked it.
All right, producer, whatever you say. Anyways, yeah, it kind of broke my heart a little bit because the worm like thinks of everything it ingests as being kept safe and like creating a new family, and these things are safe from the dangers of space. And I don't know, I just thought it was very heartbreaking. And then at the end, the worm is like, "I'm sorry, I treated you badly." It's like gaslighting itself, and it's like, "I was the problem here. Like, please don't leave. Why did I make you mad?" When they're shooting it, I don't know. It just hurts my heart a little bit. And then, you know what hurt my heart the most was that in the Ray Sloan story, we find out that the Minox died, and like that thing loved the Minox. So I don't know, yo, poor little sad worm. And that's my take.
Yeah, that worm wanted to be friends, but they were having no part of it. Like, they had shit to do.
That worm is not friend-shaped, to be fair.
Correct.
It's funny that that worm has shipping opinions. Like, you're a worm. Calm down. You don't need to get involved in the betting pool.
Han Leia ship is worm approved.
Apparently, based on this story.
But yeah, no, it was. I just like it. Like one of the like saddest parts, but also one of the most fascinating parts is like, just like obviously in a book called From a Certain Point of View, we're gonna get these questions of perspective, but these questions of friends, don't go, stay. I'll make it better. Do you want me to get rid of the Minox? I can get rid of the Minox. Be my friend. Like it was just. It's like heartbreaking in a way, like you were saying, Rana. Like just this sad, lonely worm whose fellow worms don't really like it.
Yeah, the fact that like the worm is alive for like 1 billion years and like has no worm friends, it's kind of fucked. It's just like, I'm so alone. These small things seem so not alone. They have not aloneness together. It's sad.
Sad worm vibes indeed, man. It's just life, man. Let's go from sad worm vibes to boss bitch vibes.
Boss
and talk about Ray Sloan.
Ray Sloan is smarter than you. And she fucking knows it.
She fucking knows it.
We love it.
Yep.
More Ray Sloan, please.
Always.
Always more Ray Sloan. God bless John Jackson Miller. Just every time he writes Ray Sloan, I'm like, it's just chef's kiss. So let's kick this discussion of this story off with actually a listener question that we got from cameraman Travis on Twitter, frequent listener and questioner, question sender. I don't know.
Question asker.
Question asker. What do you think Vader sees in Sloane to give her the new command when the rest of the Empire holds her down?
He's fucking smart. He doesn't give a fuck who she's like friends with. He's like, "Oh, you a boss ass bitch? You gonna wipe the floor with this new admiral here? Let's go. Have this Star Destroyer. You're welcome."
Yeah, I think he likes the way that, one, she handled her shit and was like, "I don't give a fuck." Like, do we really think Vader cares about the chain of command? No. He cares about force choking, and that's like 99% of his daily thoughts. Yeah,
99% that, 1% Padme. Where'd you go?
Exactly. Oh, sad domestic violence issues. But yeah, it's a thing that I forgot what I was saying. I'm so sorry, geeks.
No, I think I'll kind of pick up where I think you were going and definitely interrupt me and jump in if you remember. But I think what both of you said is exactly right. Where like Vader is ironically the single member of the Empire who is least corrupted by status in a way. Like he only cares about competence. Now it's the competence to murder as many people as you can in a short period of time.
Still
but
counts.
Listen, we all have a bar, and that's Vader's. And yeah, I think, you know, something that he has kind of always seen in her, you know, going back to when he first met her back in JJM's first short story where he introduced her that I think we read when we read Lords of the Sith. But she basically like rats out her commanding officer for like giving bad hyperspace coordinates and trying to kill them all. And so he is like, this is a person who is going places and just cares about getting the job done. And if I can tell her if I can get her to do the job I want her to do, then I trust that she'll be able to get it done better than, you know, fucking Piet who just wants his nephew's command.
Yeah, and like it's interesting too because, you know, he, like you said, he's the one person who's not corrupted by the idea of like the power structures, but he's also outside of that Imperial hierarchy. Like he's got a role and everyone knows it, but he doesn't have like a rank, you know? He's not walking around in his Imperial Navy uniform. Everyone just kind of listens to him because the Emperor likes him, and he'll fucking force choke you if you don't listen or if you fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing binding him to like having to make, you know, politically sound decisions. He's like, you're good at murder? Would you like this murder machine?
I know that Vader is a villain, of course, but given his own history pre-Lava, is there any possibility that he has like a little bit of a not a soft side, but like definitely no soft side. But well,
he's made of metal,
right? But I mean, like a weak spot for the fact that he himself was like someone who was, you know, denied responsibilities and the things he wanted in life. Like when he sees, like, you know, the fact that he was there for that whole conversation, and he's seeing Piet like shit all over Ray Sloan and say like, "You're gonna die, you made bad choices." Do you think there's any part of him that's like, "Hey, I remember that shit"? No, probably not, right? Because, you know, Lava. But
I mean, he's still probably mad that he never made Master.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, you were
No,
trying
totally.
to see.
I think you're right on, Rana.
Never thought I'd hear it before.
He would never let that shit
Where
go.
are my air horns, yo? It's okay.
Wah,
It's
wah, wah,
too late
wah.
now. Thank you.
There it is. There it is.
It's all right. It means nothing.
Please know that I like wanted that to be a sad trombone air horn.
That would have worked too, or crickets.
Do we have a
You should do
crickets drop?
cicadas
That would be
instead
very
of crickets.
useful.
We should have a crickets drop, but then it would be hard to cut all of our awkward silences.
True.
You'd have to pick where to place it, and that would be difficult. But yeah, no, Rana, I think you're totally right that it is like, you know, even if it's less like sympathy for, you know, the people who aren't like people who are unappreciated, and more just like, I was unappreciated, and the result was all the Jedi died, so I'm gonna make sure that smart people are appreciated, like as like because it's like a, you know, smart thing, right thing to do, air quotes. I absolutely think that drives him.
I think it's more like I was smart and did smart things, and I didn't get it, which is bullshit, and you're smart and do smart things. I don't think he cares about the Jedi dying all that much. He kind of gave that up a while back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely. Any more thoughts?
I have so many thoughts. Ray Sloan is so fucking smart. She's good at everything she does. She's like, they keep sending me on these bullshit missions to like check out the new, you know, transport ships or whatever. But then on the way back, I found this and this and this. And oh, these Minocs are dead, which means that they were recently dead. This one's got blaster marks on it. So this is actually what happened. You, Sir Admiral Piet, fucked up and let them go. Like, she figures it out in a span of like a couple hours that the Millennium Falcon was literally right there. And Piet's just like, what?
Yeah, she's brilliant. I love it.
Nita didn't tell me about this.
I'm going to be very interested to see if she ever runs into Thrawn in the canon. Because, to our knowledge, she hasn't. To our knowledge, she hasn't in the past. But we know that she is around and helping to form... I'm sorry. Did you say something?
I need it.
Oh. We know that she's around and helping form the First Order. And we know that Thrawn is out there somewhere and, going to be found in Star Wars Ahsoka TM. But so they exist at the same time in the same timeline, and she is one of the very few people who who he hasn't already collected to work for him that I feel really kind of follows his deductive reasoning train of thought, and maybe with a little more lived experience, political expertise thrown in there than he has. He's very classroom book smarts, but I feel they would be either very strong allies or very bitter enemies. And since we still don't know what Thrawn's endgame is per se, it'll be interesting to see how that runs up against the growing of the First Order out in the unknown regions.
I want to read it. I want to see it. I want to know all about it.
I would give so much money for it. I want them to be friends, but can you imagine them as enemies, like you said, just playing fucking space chess with the galaxy?
No, that's 6D chess. Sorry, reference to last week.
But no, I want him to be oh, she's smart, let me collect her. This is Eli Vantos. Have you met him?
Another happy landing.
Also, I feel by that point in her career, if Thrawn tried to collect her, she'd be bitch, who are you? I feel she'd be I will collect you, sad little blue man.
Sad little blue man. Sorry, Keeks.
Just like Hondo.
Oh, Jesus. Just Ray Sloan.
Yeah.
Look what she does to us all the time. Just warm feelings.
Not to be confused with sad worm feeling.
Not to be confused with sad worm vibes. For sure. Let's talk about caves, shall we?
Speaking of weird force shit.
Yeah.
Weird force shit.
Can I just say, reading this book, and it's in this story, it's in the worm story, it's in the Wampa and the Tauntaun stories. I don't think we give enough credit, 40 years after the fact, to what a fucking weird movie Empire Strikes Back was.
Hey, it's one of my favorites, okay?
No,
Not just of Star Wars of all time.
It's fantastic.
Give me that weird shit.
Is a phenomenal film that stands the test of time. But you look back at original Star Wars, and it's very much a very tried and true, kind of medieval chivalrous story that happens to take place in space.
Yeah.
And then you have this one, which is just fucking weird.
I mean, it still makes way more sense than the fucking Rise of Skywalker. So
It's so true.
Yeah.
Sorry, if I don't say that, they're gonna drop me from the pod.
It's
The
true.
plot of
It's
this-
Ron is the only one with a contract, and the contract states that she
That's
has to
the
dunk
only
on Rise of
contract.
Skywalker.
Yeah, that's
every
the only
week.
thing in the contract.
We're not paying her anything for it. She just has to do it. I don't know how we got her to sign it, to be honest.
I work in nonprofit. I'm not known for my contract abilities.
We pay her in air horns.
Amazing. Goes right to my bank account. Oh my god. Sorry, I'm way off topic.
The little
What's
plot
new?
of this story is a weird force cave befriends Yoda.
Yes.
What?
I'm here for it. Yoda needs his friends on this little planet. I know he wants to, talk to the Force ghosts and whatever, fine. He needs to meditate. But, I don't know. I clearly have a problem because I like all of these stories that are not from human perspectives and have, some dark undertones. But I thought it was a good story. I didn't know the history of Dagobah, being a place that lots of Jedi went and then left. I didn't know that until this story. Chris, is that in the canon somewhere else?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, cool. Well, now I feel slightly less like people on the internet can say I don't like Star Wars. I mean, they can, but they'd be wrong. But yeah, I really liked it. I didn't really care about its interactions with Luke, whatever. But I loved its little, ooh, this little green guy is coming back. I don't know. I thought it was cool.
I liked how sassy the cave was. Like when Luke rolled up, the cave's like, this piece of shit is an easy fucking target. Oh, you have daddy issues? Oh my god, it's your face. What?
Yeah.
The
I'm
dark
doing
side
the
isn't even
best
evil
at
at all.
this.
It just wants to fuck with you.
Yeah.
It's actually its own shitpost.
It's chaotic neutral.
By definition, it's like chaotic evil, right? But, well, no, it is chaotic neutral. Never mind. You know what? Ignore me. Muting.
But yeah, I just love the concept of, and then one day George Lucas wrote down on a piece of paper, frog puppet takes boy to ghost cave.
That's it, folks. That's Star Wars.
That's gold. Cinema gold.
And that's my favorite one.
But no, I love, in addition to like how like fucking weird, but also like completely on branded it is that Yoda would befriend a cave. I also love that like this is another one where we kind of get a meaning of like the darkness versus the balance, and like we definitely saw the darkness aspect of that in Mike Chen's story about Palpatine, but this one like you kind of see the cave embracing its darkness, and it's, you know, I think also like definitely a commentary on how you're treated by people, because he's like, the Dark Ones called me dark, so I guess I'm evil. But then Yoda's just like, yeah, you're there, bro cave. Like you're just the Force, and you know, you have darkness like any of us do, and you show us what our darkness is, because that's your weird little kink, but it helps us grow stronger.
Yeah, he's like, you show us the dark stuff that we need to face, but like, we need to do this, so thank you. Thank you, cave, for being a friend.
Is the cave actually just space therapy?
Yeah.
It's space
And that's why
therapy.
Yoda is the only one who has a peaceful passing.
I wouldn't call it peaceful when he's got to deal with fucking Luke there.
True.
Yes.
I always think of that meme that's like, you never understand why Yoda dies in Return of the Jedi until you have a little kid asking you 500 questions.
So true.
But I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
See, I died right there.
Wait, did you ever see the meme where it's like, you know, Rey she's on Tatooine at the end of Rise of Skywalker, and like she goes to Tashi Station, and the guy's like, Skywalker, you say? And just like is so excited because he's got all these fucking power converters.
No, I've never seen this, but I'm really
I might
enjoying
be
the
making this
description.
up. I've seen it.
I'm
somewhere.
imagining it, and I like it more than any actual meme. So.
No, I've seen it too. It's excellent, Burb.
I'm gonna Google this now. Much better than when I accidentally Googled the three-way beer and on my work laptop, like three-way beer organ. So let's look up this instead.
Amazing. Let's keep it in nature and talk about lizards with Tooth and Claw by Michael
I was
Coggy?
about to do
Cog. I'm not entirely sure
a
how this individual pronounces their name.
I don't know. Good question.
Tooth and Claw by Michael K.
Not to be confused with the racist Michael K in Canada. I think that's his name, right? Well, never mind. Natives know. If I'm wrong, I don't really care.
There you go.
I trust you.
Anyways, sorry. Sometimes I just talk to myself on the pod.
What do you think Chris does all day? Like,
Yeah.
are you new here?
Actually, yes.
Oh no, my comment was just gonna be I was about to make a lizard noise, but I don't know what lizards sound like.
Isn't it just like a little tongue flicker?
Just like drawn out S's.
Like a hiss? I
Yeah.
imagine with a little like... that's for cats. Never mind.
It's funny. Anytime I think of Bosk, I just think of Battlefront 2, the video game, where when you play as Bosk in multiplayer, like, you know, they all have their little like catchphrases that they say whenever they spawn, you know, like video game characters do. But Bosk is just like really overexcited. That's how I'm
what
gonna
is it?
describe it. It's like I'm not gonna do the impression because you know we're trying to not lose all our listeners here. But it's just
Is it a human word? Is it like a sound?
no.
Is
It's
it a
like him
lizard?
saying like my name is Bosk,
Yes.
which is
Love
like
that.
A plus writing, but B.
I'm googling this right now.
It made me uncomfortable as a bystander.
I think that's Bosk's whole job.
Yeah.
I mean,
this
not wrong.
was a weird one. It was too long, but I kind of liked it. Not like enough
kind of-
to justify the length.
It kind of felt like an old EU story, like something I would have read like 20 years ago when I was like a little kid reading EU books. I don't know, something was wrong with me back then and still now, but I remember like a lot of stories about, maybe I'm making this up, but anyways, it just gave me those vibes of like, it's a little bit too long. It was kind of written in a way that like was very heavy-handed about like, this is Star Wars, this is Star Wars, this is Star Wars. Like, yes, we know this is Star Wars. So I don't know, it just gave me very like EU vibes in that sense. It was a little longer than needed. It was kind of fucked up, and also like it just repeated the same things, but it was highly entertaining. So I'm not trying to shit on it. Like, it was entertaining, but it just, yeah, definitely EU vibes for me.
It's very funny because literally the day like I read this story earlier that day, I read a like Twitter thread from John Jackson Miller about people ask like how do you write for Star Wars, and like Star Wars in particular is like really something where like the easy trap to fall into is to like create words and create terminology. And like he goes into these examples of like he does like these are two different ways to say the same thing. And one of them was Kanan looked at the light of the, Tritary star system, and his ocular, lenses were overloaded, and so he covered them with his with like some sort of biological implementation, some shit. And then like the second way to say it is Kanan blinked. And so I read that thread and I loved it. And then that night I read this story and I was like, yeah, this is not written by John Jackson Miller.
It's big Star Wars vibes, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, very extra in that kind of way.
I do really want to go on that ship. Like, I didn't know
Yeah.
anything about Wookiee ships, and the fact that they have, like, a forest inside, that shit is dope. And then the fact that they said it, like, the whole thing looks like you're cast in amber because of the light of the wood. Like, I don't know. I want that ride on Galaxy's Edge.
That'd be cool.
Everything
I
Wookiees
didn't-
do is just so cool.
Correct. I have, like, no sense of how big any of these ships are. So I thought it was going to be smaller, but then there was, like, this room, and then there were just a ton of Wookiees on it. Like, I think 10 Wookiees, including the little BBs.
Something like that. Yeah, some large number.
Lots of space. Lots of trees.
Indeed. What I was going to say earlier is just that, like, I feel like Star Wars, like, and this is, like, I definitely think an EU thing and also very much a Tim Zahn thing. And the fact that, like, we had George Lucas and then we had nothing and then we had Tim Zahn setting the tone for everything else. But I feel like George Lucas was, like, for the most part, not overly concerned with, like, making the science and terminology work. And that's, like, very much a, like, 90s sci-fi.
Midichlorians?
Yeah. And, like, very much a
It's-
90s sci-fi
literally
vibe
faking in
that, like,
space.
kind of defined
Yeah. And
that
Hercules.
era. That era of, like, white men writing sci-fi, like Ender's Game, like that whole situation. And, like, so I'm with you. Like, this felt very EU to me, but, like, to me that takes me out of Star Wars a little bit whenever authors do that. All right, cool. Any other thoughts on this one?
Cool. No. This is where the cicadas go.
This
They're
is where
crickets.
No,
the
they
cicadas
should
go.
be cicadas.
Um,
Let's be real.
God, I really didn't mean to type that. I was, the G and the F are right next to each other, and it's really unfortunate.
no, if you'd
Sorry.
meant to type it, it wouldn't be funny. It's funny because you didn't mean to type it.
It's very clear what you were trying to type.
Let's
I
wrap
just
it up.
felt so bad. I saw everyone's face. Anyway, sorry, Keeks. You can delete me.
Wait,
In
does
life.
Chris have a face?
Oh, Keeks is a slur. Okay. Oh my God, never. Okay, it's fine. This is the price
So
I
good.
pay.
Our listeners will never know, but it was funny. Just
They'll
know that.
never know.
Um,
I feel some deep shame in my stomach for that.
Let's wrap up the last fest with DJ Older, shall we?
We love DJ Older.
DJ Older.
It's funny because we were all talking like before we started recording. We do the minimal amount of effort does go into these pods, and we were talking about which stories we wanted to discuss. Because the past few weeks there have just been a couple where we're like, nobody had any thoughts on this, and we were all like, we really liked DJO's story, but we also have nothing to really say about it because it's just very self-contained and funny.
Yeah.
And it's very like self-explanatory. Like I
Yeah.
don't think I would add anything interesting
Yeah,
to it. It's like anything I would try to add, they'd be like, yeah, that was explicit.
Yeah, and it's like self-contained story, a good time, fun little comedic adventure, right? And a fun little romp for the kids at home. And then at the end, there's like the bounty hunters part, and it's like, yes, this is a Star Wars. I liked the format, like it's
The Microsoft Word comments, yeah.
yes. We can pretend like it's Clippy showing up to help out. Like I really like that. That's something that the authors are able to do here, like in these kind of short story anthologies, is like play with how they're telling their story. We saw it in the original From a Certain Point of View for Star Wars: A New Hope, with like the little mouse droid one. There was a story that we kind of skipped in one of the last episodes because it was literally just like a comic that was like super fun. I don't know, it's just something cool about this medium.
Yeah, definitely. It was one of the more, I don't want to say one of the more creative ones because a lot of these have been super creative, like telling a story from the perspective of a cave. But like it's definitely something that we have not seen before in a very good way.
Yes.
All right, instead of weird force shit, we're just gonna end it on weird writing shit, I guess.
In a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah, good weird.
Exactly.
We love DJ and this family.
We do. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Book Wars Pod. Next week, we're going to continue reading Empire Strikes Back from a Certain Point of View. This book is fucking long. Like,
In a good way.
no, totally in a good way. But like, I think this might be the first book that we're going to have spent like 6 weeks on by the end of it. It's like a 500+ page book. Anyway, we're going to be reading Wait For It through Bespin Escape. And in the meantime, hit us up on Twitter and Instagram at BookWarsPod, on the Tashi Station Radio Patreon, and you can email us, bookwarspod@gmail.com. If you have the means, first of all, please donate to Islamic Relief USA. And then, if you want to, and want to make bad decisions, you can help us as well and give us money either via the Tashi Station Radio Patreon or give us coffee at ko-fi.com/bookwarspod. It really helps us cover our hosting and production costs and helps us save money to give Argo, Cerberus, Jasper, Orca, and Tony the love, toys, and food and affection that they all deserve. Our theme song is Whiz Bang by Poddington Bear. Our logo and artwork are by Joby Terra Design. And our audio and production are done by our very own Kristen McDonald. For I almost said Miranda, Rana, Kristen, and Kate.
Is that how you view women, Chris?
Right. Wow. Get the fuck out.
I'm Chris. We'll talk to you next week.
Did you just imply we're not going to love our pets if they don't donate?
No, I
We'll
implied.
give them the
No.
food and treats
I
that they-
implied that we would be poor and our pets would starve if they didn't donate. Very critical.